I am 24, based out of Los Angeles.
Ooh, what do you do in LA?
I'm a logistics manager for a tech company.
Ooh, okay. What do you bring in?
After like bonuses and stuff, around 90K.
Why do you hate living at home?
It's just embarrassing to me to be 24 and still living at home.
Nah, who cares?
And where we are right now, I don't know how at any age I'm going to be able to like actually afford something though. Like at what age am I going to be able to get out of, my parents' house? I don't know. I don't see a pathway of getting out of it.
Chaz, welcome back to Financial Audit. Now, you were a virtual audit at that time, which we used to do. We don't do anymore, but that's okay. You were filming out of Los Angeles. You were 24, and it was uploaded December 2nd, 2022. So, quite a while ago at this point. At the time of filming that episode, you wanted to leave Los Angeles. You were making $90,000 a year after bonuses, working as a logistics manager for a tech company. But, you felt like your job was stagnant. You were looking to leave and work outside of LA. You're living with your parents to save some money. Really, it was an interesting situation because it's not the typical situations that we see on the show where I'm helping people get out of debt, because I do find that to be the most valuable thing, because that's where a lot of Americans tend to be stuck. And I like to help that basic part. And then, hopefully people, they move on to more like money guy and stuff like that, to more advanced stuff after getting out of debt and having a fully funded emergency fund. But your situation was practically nothing. At least for what we typically do for the show. I mean, you had a balance of $128 on a credit card that was probably paid off normally, and then a checking account balance of $40,000. What I suggested at that point was, in order to move, make sure you had a 6-month emergency fund that was separate from what you wanted to do for buying a home. Didn't want you to buy a home that was more than like 30% of your post-tax income. And then, your budget did feel a bit out of control, so I wanted you to just maintain and make sure you had the discipline behind having a budget. And then, maybe living at home and saving up another $40K over the next year or two to put a really solid down payment on a home. But it wasn't like that wasn't like you had to do that, but it was, just a suggestion if you had extra patience. You wanted to marry your girlfriend, and we were going to take $35K out of your checking account, put it in a high yield savings account. And then you had some money anxieties, and I wanted to sit down with a professional and then put your goals together on like a board or something, so you knew what you wanted to do and how to get there. So that was a lot, but that's what happened about a year and a half ago. What has happened since then?
Yeah, I remember I came on, like, congrats by the way, because when I came on, I think it was like 6 months or so into your career and like seeing where you're at. So I was kind of a weird situation, but I think everything I wanted to happen has happened. I was able to move out of my parents' house, which was like my main goal, definitely. And I got a new job doing what I really want to do, pays a little better, over in Nashville. So I'm actually living in Nashville now. So I got out of LA.
Wow. Yeah. Good job.
So that's been super awesome. It's a really cool job I've been doing. Gonna stay there, I think, right now for like the foreseeable future. But right now I feel like you said the goal was to kind of save up as much as possible, get yourself like the emergency fund, get everything fully invested, get retirement up and all that, which I've been doing. And then the goal now is kind of to get like property. I think I took your assessment of like your financial situation, and I got like a 7 out of 10. I thought I would be better, to be honest with you. So it kind of stressed me out.
7 out of 10 is great. Like, it's great. A lot of people, they can get confused on the 0 out of 10 scale for a lot of things, because they think anything under a 5 is like horrendous, where 5 is like literally the middle of 0 out of 10. So I don't know. That just tends to happen when people think of those rankings. Like, hey, I would be happy to rank on an attractive scale of 5 out of 10. That means I'm an average, okay looking dude. I'd be okay with that. 7 out of 10 is a very good financial score in our book, especially when you have nothing when it comes to real estate. That means everything else is doing fantastic and weighing it really heavily.
Yeah, hopefully that's accurate. But yeah, I mean, like, C's get degrees, so I guess 7's not too bad. But but yeah, overall, I would say everything I wanted to happen since those 2 years ago has. I'm on track with all my goals. I think right now it's just more like figuring out long term what to do. I'm 26 now. I just turned 26. So like I'm at the point in my life, like I'm not really sure like where I want to end up, where I want to move to. And that's a little stressful, but just kind of having the freedom with it has been really nice. And, we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. So let's take a look at your finances. Let's see where things sit today, and then what we can kind of put together to potentially hit some goals. We have a paid off credit card. Who would have thought? And it's just looks like gas, groceries, maybe prescriptions, some fabric thing. Okay. We have another credit card that's paid off every single month.
Yeah, I probably won't be typical for your show. I came on kind of early, so might be a little bit different than what you're used to.
Yeah, I mean, well, some people ask for a positive audit, and this is kind of what it looks like. It's just, there's really not much to go through. I mean, there's bullshit on here, but you're paying off your credit cards, and this only matters. Like, you spent like $800 on bullshit. That only matters if the rest of your finances are bad. If that fits in your 50, 30, 20, and we're hitting goals and we're doing things you're supposed to do, then it's totally okay. Lots of Culvers in here. I'm a Culvers boy. Some McDonald's and parking.
I cannot believe how good that is. I had it for the first time ever. And when I moved out to the Midwest, it's almost as good as In-N-Out.
Do you call Tennessee the Midwest?
Yeah, well, I'm from LA. I don't know anything now.
Okay, well, it's not the Midwest. To be very clear, I think they consider that the South.
No way. Tennessee's definitely not the South.
Yeah, Tennessee's...
It's like the middle.
No, Tennessee is in the South. Well, yeah, well, it's not the Midwest. Look up your U.S. regions, good sir.
I'll check.
Okay. And then checking account. Let's see, $1,000. So that's obviously not the big one. Lots of Venmos, transfers back and forth. That's pretty much all it is. Okay. Yeah, nothing crazy there.
That Wells Fargo, I think you're looking at, it's my travel account. So I just keep a little bit in there to pay off.
Sure.
So it's not too much.
Then in a SoFi checking, $100. Yeah, I don't do much with my SoFi checking either, but I keep everything in the savings. There it is. Woo! Man, we're just stacking. We're at $101,000. Incredible. Love to see that.
It's that 4.6 is kind of crazy, but I'm probably a little too cash heavy right now. A little risk averse.
I would assume that, but I didn't want to assume it before getting the final look on everything. 10,000 in Robinhood. Can I see I can't see what that's invested in.
I'm doing bad right now this year. I think I'm down like $4,000 or $5,000. I do a lot of my risky investments in Robinhood.
I was going to say, you're obviously not investing in the overall market because the overall market's up 15% this year, 12%.
Yeah, so I do a lot of, so you'll see my Fidelity. I have a lot of the safer stuff. My Robinhood, I keep like 10, 15 grand in there, and I do a lot of riskier bets. I'm up overall, but year to date has been, don't invest in solar stocks when interest rates are going up. It's a terrible idea. But yeah, that Robinhood's not doing great.
Well, again, I mean, $10,000, that could be okay depending on your situation. Year to date, S&P 500 is up 15% at the time of recording this, and that's after having kind of a rough week. So I like the overall market. Okay, what is this? This is Fidelity. Oh, 162,000. Okay, so there we go. And those percentages, they kind of make sense. Is that 10,000? It's close. It's close to 5%. I do 5% of my portfolio into individual stocks. I did 10%, but I brought it down to 5%.
5%, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I used, I think I got a little too cocky with the Robinhood. I was doing really well for like a few years, and then I was doing a lot of like option trading in it, which I probably don't do if you aren't ready to lose money, because it turned on me quick.
No, it's betting 100%. Essentially. Slightly educated betting, depending. So, I mean, look at the trend on this Fidelity account, dude. It's like, woo, it's really starting to get that bell. I don't know. I would just continue investing here. I don't know what you're investing in, but your individual account is at $38,909. Roth IRA is at $32,000, and then the 401k is at $18,000. What looks like invested in something different because it's doing the opposite, at least in the screenshot time. There. So what are you invested in there?
All my Roth is just index funds, mostly S&P. I have a lot of like small market, mid cap, and then a little bit of bonds. But I kind of got rid of bonds because I felt like they were too like slow. And then
have you gone through our investing class, which you get for free?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Did you get our email? I know some went to spam.
I feel like I've gotten so many. I honestly haven't really checked. I joined the the Discord for a little bit, but I haven't really been on too much. So I kind of miss a good amount.
Well, definitely take that, because what we do is we help define people what their investing profile looks like, and then we give people investing strategies that professionals across the board have used with historic returns that apply to those different investing profiles. So I think defining your investing profile could be important to you.
I think that's a really good one. I will say last year, do you remember when tech stocks in 2023 kind of did their like mini crash and like they were all cut in half, like Meta went to like 100 a share. I loaded up hard on those at that time. So a lot of the stuff in there is like the Magnificent Seven, which did pretty well for me. And then obviously like NVIDIA has been insane. So I have a good amount of that.
Yeah, 2023, there was a dip from July to October. But the fun part was 2021 to the end of 2022. Getting in during that time, delicious, because that's where it really went down. And then
I had no money at that time, man. I couldn't get a job at that time.
Fair enough. Life happens, but there's a lot of life left to live. And then your credit score's at 803, so that's great. So your spending's okay for where you're at. So you want to get into real estate then.
Mm-hmm. But
cool.
Like I said, I'm risk averse. I don't know where to start. It's tough, man. And everything is so expensive right now. Did
you end up marrying your girlfriend?
No, we're still dating.
Okay, so you'd probably kind of be going at it at your own. We wouldn't want you both to get on the title of the house. Just a little weird. Just get married first before you do that. I get that. I mean, how do you feel about staying in Nashville for the next 7 years?
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. All my family's in California, so it's hard to like want to lock it down when I love it there, and I would stay if like everyone was a little closer, but I fly home like 5-6 times a year, and it just takes a lot out of you. I don't want to do that forever.
Okay, then don't buy. That's fine. Right now, in many markets, it's cheaper to rent, and that's okay. I think overall, in general, yes, I would love to have a paid-for residential property as a part of your portfolio headed into retirement would be great. But if you don't know where you want to be for the next 7 years, like I would want you to be able to commit to living in the place for the next 7 years. Doesn't mean you have to necessarily, but I want you to at least be able to. And if you're not confident that you're able to do that, don't buy yet. Doesn't make sense. But you're stockpiling cash. I would rather, probably have at least half of that working in the market from the SoFi. I know you're risk adverse, so it means some of that money could go down by the time you're ready to buy a house. So you can leave it in the SoFi as well if you want to. It's completely up to you. But, I mean, when you feel you're in a place where you're happy with a career, you're happy with settling down there and doing whatever you want to do for at least 7 years, yeah, put a down payment on a house, 20%.
Realistically, you think the headache from owning real estate is worth the return? Because I know you get like passive income and stuff from it, but you can make more just in the stock market now. Like, why would you need to invest in it? I'm like very probably unhealthy when it comes to money, like mentally. I don't think it's like talked about a lot, but like I get really nervous like spending it, which is kind of why I'm just like hoarding it all. It just seems like a headache.
As a full-time creator, I can tell you creating engaging videos takes a lot of time and effort. From scripting to editing, the whole process can be a headache. But that's where InVideo AI comes in. With InVideo AI, you're in the director's seat while the AI acts as your co-pilot, taking care of all the heavy lifting. InVideo AI is the world's most used AI video creator with over 10 million users in more than 150 countries. It's the only tool I found that lets you control every aspect of your video using simple text prompts. So here's how it works. To start, you enter in a detailed prompt. For example, create a video about the best purchases you can make in your 20s. InVideo AI will generate a rough draft based on your input.
None of us really know how to adult, right? So let's figure out the must-have buys for your 20s together.
If you need to make changes, it's as easy as typing. You can add subtitles, change the voiceover, or even modify the intro with just a few text commands. Want to change the language to French? Done.
On est tous un peu perdus quand il s'agit d'être adulte, pas vrai? Alors découvrons ensemble les achats indispensables de la vingtaine. Tout d'abord, un matelas de qualité.
Need better footage for a scene? Done. It's that simple. And here's the game changer. InVideo AI can clone your voice. Imagine creating videos in your own voice without having to record anything. This feature alone saves you time and money, making video creation more accessible and efficient. Once you're happy with your video, you can export it without watermarks and with access to high quality stock footage. This comprehensive tool replaces the need for multiple apps, saving you hundreds of dollars each month. So if you're serious about upping your video game, try InVideo AI. Plans start at just $20 a month, and you'll get access to millions of royalty-free stock footage clips, voice cloning, and more. Scan the QR code on screen or check out the link in the description and use my code FinancialAudit50 to get 2 times the number of video generation credits in your first month. There's certainly stress levels. I mean, that depends on the person. For me, it doesn't personally stress me out. And when it comes to my rentals, I have a rental property management company that does that. You know, I broke down my real estate portfolio for the first 500 people that purchased our investing program. And, you know, essentially there, what I'm looking at for my primary residence is my primary residence. But for the investment properties I do, I get a 12% cash on cash return, you know, is what my minimum is. And, you know, S&P 500 averages at 10%. So I do try to beat the market. Not always going to do it because repairs are going to pop up, but it's diversification. If the stock market takes a huge hit, well, at least I have half my portfolio in real estate. If the real estate market takes a big hit, well, at least I have half my portfolio in the stock market. You know, I'm just not an eggs all in one basket kind of guy. And you are diversifying by technically having cash and a high yield right now, as the rates for high yield are okay instead of everything in the market. So I don't think you're necessarily doing anything wrong. And real estate's not for everyone. I put it in the Hammer score because it's something that Caleb Hammer, me, you know, it's my score, what I look for. But that doesn't mean it is for everyone. If you don't want to own, that's totally fine. It's totally fine. Renting can be a really good way to do it.
That makes sense. Yeah. Your score getting a 7, trust me, I thought I was doing a lot better. I was like, oh, I'm going to get a 10 for sure. And then when I got that, I think I was like, it made me rethink a lot of the stuff I was doing. But that's kind of why I want to talk about it with you.
I mean, I just moved up to an 8 Hammer financial score, and that's because technically I have some risk. That's not a bad score. It's an absolutely fantastic score, but I do have mortgages, which is technical risk, even if they're, you know, not really that bad of mortgages. I keep my low interest rate student loans. Technically, it's a risk. I'm not going to get rid of them mathematically, but that does bring down my score. This is perfect finances would be literally having perfect finances. Your finances are absolutely incredible. Do you have perfect finances? I wouldn't say so. So like perfection's something to aim for, not something that many people get to. And that's okay. It's more of a goal setting thing, trying to aim for something.
Can I ask, if you were in my spot, would you go and get some rentals or get some sort of real estate? Or do you think you'd rather just kind of, like, how would you do it?
I don't know. It sounds like it stresses you out. I mean, if I were you, I don't know where your head is. Like if I were me where you are, yes, I would personally, but that's because I like that and I'm okay with that kind of stress. And I love the negotiation of it. I love finding a good deal. I love rehabilitating a place, taking a place that was basically unlivable and making it livable again, you know, and providing it to the market that way. If that's not you, man, that is okay. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, well, that's a fair point then. I'll have to look into it. My rent is a little crazy right now, though. Nashville is surprisingly expensive. It's like, I think I'm paying like $2,300 a month right now. So I know they say
you might be over renting.
Yeah, I think I probably am. But they say that they say renting's somehow cheaper than owning a home at this point. So that's what made me feel like it was okay to kind of get a nicer spot. But I kind of feel like I'm
in many markets.
Yeah. But like, what does that even mean?
In many.
Like, how is it? Because if you're paying towards something, doesn't it seem like it would be?
Well, home prices haven't really gone down as interest rates have gone up. Certain markets have certainly gotten hit. Austin's gotten hit, but even Austin is up 6% year to date at this point. Even though from its peak it's down 15%, but it's starting to play catch up because it was down 20%. So places like that, you know, but across the country, home prices just hit a record high, not adjusted for inflation last week as of recording this episode. And when that's happening, while also having to get in at a 7-8% mortgage, that minimum monthly payment is pretty brutal compared to what you can get renting right now in places like Austin. If you were to go to get a home versus renting's like $1,000 cheaper, you know, depending on if you're just a normal single family home on a monthly basis. So it really depends on the market. There's lots of painted with the brush statements out there, certainly. So you got to apply it to the market and the ecosystem that you're in. But yeah, for a lot of places, renting is cheaper just mathematically.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I like renting. I like the freedom of it. When something breaks, I just call someone to fix it. You know,
Yep.
I'll have to deal with that headache. So I think in the short term, it has been nice. That's kind of my goal now. So I'm going to look forward. Hopefully, in a couple of years, 2 years from now, 3 years, I'll have a nice spot. We'll do a even quicker follow-up. There won't be much to go over.
Yeah, honestly, you're ready to get a home when you're ready to get a home. Financially, you're ready. When you are actually ready, I'm totally down for it. Well, I'm very happy to see where you're at. I mean, this is absolutely fantastic. You're killing it more than pretty much anyone that we've had a follow-up with, which is awesome. You were kind of killing it from before, but, this is very cool, and I'm very proud of you, and I'm excited to see where you go, and we'll continue these conversations as much as you want. Beautiful. We'll definitely stay in touch. If you want to do another one in like 6 months, just let us know.